Building substantial wealth is hard, especially if you have a normal paying job, family, or other obligations. One man who can relate to that is Charlie Munger. He has once said that accumulating the first $100,000 from a standing start with no seed money is the most difficult part of building wealth. Making the first million is the next big hurdle. To do that, a person must consistently underspend his income. In this video, I've made a list of 6 actionable steps you can take right now to move closer to your first $1 million goal. This list is based on what Charlie Munger has said and written over the years. Now, all of these steps are based on investment decisions Charlie Munger made in the early parts of his career. In my opinion, these are much more relevant than his choices later on in life, as most of us don't control $1 billion funds, but instead want to get going to reach that first $1 million milestone. You definitely don't want to miss step number 6, as that one has the potential to not only change your financial future, but also your whole life. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Step number 1, own equity. Charlie Munger began investing far later than his eventual business partner, Warren Buffett. He graduated from Harvard Law School in 1948 and began practicing law in California. Working as a lawyer in his late 20s, he started noticing how wealthy some of his clients were. Instead of charging just cash as a payment for his services, he started accepting equity in his clients' businesses as a form of payments. This is a good idea for several reasons. Instead of just getting a one-time payment for his service, owning equity in his client's business would make him money for years to come. Because he owns a part of his client's business, he is entitled to a cut of the profits that the business makes every year. So, let's say that Munger owns 5% of a business. He would be entitled to get 5% of the business profits every year until the business was sold. And if it was sold, Charlie would get paid for that as well. He put the money to work for him. Now, I would say that this strategy only makes sense if the business is solid. You also have to be in a position where you don't need the money up front. If you can check these 2 boxes, the beauty of this strategy is that you'll get paid for the work you did years ago. Step number 2, own property. When Munger was in his mid-30s, he met a guy called Otis Booth, who approached him with an offer. Booth was looking for Munger's assistance with a probate settlement property. Munger encouraged him to keep and develop the property. Booth agreed to work on the project on the condition that Munger, the lawyer, would accompany him. The 50-50 partnership was created, and by 1967, Munger and Booth had earned a 400% return on their $200,000 investment. In this period, Munger discovered that investing and developing property could be a great way to build wealth quickly. That partnership moved on to the next property. Munger and Booth decided to focus on ground floor apartments, which sold faster for more money. They completed 5 projects around this framework. Munger later stated that he acquired a $1.4 million fortune as a result of this activity. If you want to learn more about building wealth, investing property, you should check out this video where I cover how you can use debt to generate income. Now, step number 3 is important. Charlie Munger has stated that everyone should do this. Invest in themselves. This may sound obvious, but it's not. Most people don't invest in themselves. According to Charlie, investing in yourself means that you should use some time, at least 1 hour, every day on your personal projects. Charlie did this early every morning, working on different real estate deals and construction projects he was involved in. You could say that working as a full-time lawyer is more than enough for most people, but if you want to get ahead, you should also consider investing some time in your personal projects. This could be many different things. Maybe starting some side business, teaching yourself investing, or maybe looking into real estate deals. The point here is to make you money, not just the company you work for. Just imagine what you can accomplish doing this every day for 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years. From a wealth building standpoint, the reason why investing in yourself is so powerful is because it will allow you to save more money faster. If your day job covers all your expenses, all the money you earn from your extra efforts can be put into work, building your wealth. So let's say you make $50,000 each year from your day job, and you are able to save and invest 10% of that money. This means that you'll have invested $5,000 during the first year. Now, let's say that you can work for yourself each morning or every evening, and you can generate an additional $20,000 from this side hustle. All of that money can be invested and added to the $5,000 you saved from your day job. This brings your total annual savings up to $25,000. This means that the amount of money you are able to save each year increased by a factor of 5 times. By 5 timesing the money you are able to save each year, you'll reach that $1 million milestone a lot faster. Step number 4, Do not over-diversify. Both Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett are said to be big believers in a concentrated portfolio. Now, this definitely contradicts conventional investing wisdom, but still, I would say it can make sense if you were able to put in the necessary work. Munger's point is that you should only buy solid and beautiful businesses, the ones that are doing great and have a bright future. Now, they may of course be temporarily undervalued for some reason, but this is the investment opportunity for you. According to Munger, not many businesses check his boxes, and this is the reason why he only invests in a handful of companies. He aims for a small list of big bets that he has complete confidence in. This is the type of portfolio that some investors would lose sleep over, but Charlie has been sleeping soundly as his coffers fill up further each day. However, there's an important disclaimer that needs to be made here. If you aren't willing to or don't have the time or competence to identify stocks and businesses to invest in, that is okay. But in this case, you should be super diversified. You can achieve this by investing in an S&P 500 index fund, for example. Step number 5, consistently underspend your income. There's another quote from Charlie Munger from a shareholder meeting saying that the first $100,000 is a bitch, but you gotta do it. I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere or not eating anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. After that, you can ease off the gas a little bit. Just for reference, $100,000 in 1960 has the same purchasing power as $875,065 today. Perhaps the modern version of the story is that the first million is the hardest. There are some simple but powerful lessons in this quote, and it has honestly changed the way I look at money. The first lesson is that you have to spend less than you earn in order to have something to invest. It's obvious that if you live paycheck to paycheck, you'll never be able to save enough money to invest for the future. The second lesson is that the more money you are able to invest, the harder this money will work for you. Just think of it this way. If you save $1,000 and you get 10% profit, you get $1,100. Now, if you save $10,000 with the same 10%, you get $11,000. This is why getting your first $100,000 is a lot harder than getting your second $100,000. And this brings me over to the sixth and final step, which in my view has the potential to change your life. But before I tell you what this is, I ask you for one small favor. Please like this video if you find any value in this. Okay, so the sixth and final step to make your first $1 million is this. Let compound interest work for you. Almost every investor starts small, and the efforts from the first few years are not very visible. After saving and investing for 5 to 10 years, however, the power of compounding starts to show its true force. Over time, you'll accumulate, and by continuously reinvesting, your holding will grow without needing any additional capital from you. At this point, investment income will likely exceed your investment contributions. The concept of compound interest also demonstrates another important point. $1 saved and invested is $10, $20, or even $30 in the future. Once you learn this lesson, it is so much easier to save money. That fancy car you want to buy today doesn't cost $400 each month. It costs you thousands of dollars each month once you factor in the impact of lost compound interest. Compound interest is a tail-heavy process. You really start seeing the results only after a certain period of time. The more you wait, the more you get. As simple as that. And that's the reason why Charlie Munger has made most of his net worth after the age of 60. Charlie Munger's current net worth is more than $2.4 billion. In his 57 years and counting reign at Berkshire, the company has returned 2 million % on its initial value only through investing capital in enterprises at the right time and for the right duration, and by reinvesting all their profits. That shows you the power of compounding interest. If you found this video valuable in any way, please subscribe to Profit Protection. Now, if you want to learn more about how you can utilize the power of the compounding effect, you should definitely check out this video about Benjamin Graham, known as Warren Buffett's mentor. He posted an annualized return of around 20% from 1936 to 1956, and I'll explain to you how he did it. I'll see you in the next one.